So with us fastly approaching the end of 2021 and the holiday season as a whole, there is probably a lot of new Switch users out there that either got gifted this system on Christmas, or maybe you have some extra eShop credit as a gift and you want to know how to use it. And in today's video, I want to share some really cool free gameplay demos that you guys can check out, some of which I did not even know were available in the eShop. And I want to boot some of them up together and share my initial impressions on these games and maybe recommend some of the best demos that you can go check out right now for free on your Nintendo Switch. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we're doing a little bit different video today as I want to hop through some of the best, in my opinion, eShop demos, or at least ones that caught my eye that you can hop into your Nintendo Switch on the eShop and actually find yourself right now. And some of these I will be playing for the first time, as there's a few different titles on this list that I've never touched and I didn't even know the demos were available. And I will quickly share, before we hop through the gameplay of the different games that we are going to talk about today, I will quickly share with you guys in the eShop, if you go over to your search tab up at the top left, which my camera is probably blocking for you, but you do have a games with demos suggested search. And if you click that filter, you will essentially be able to see just about every, probably every, because the list kept going on, every game that has a free demo available in the Nintendo Switch eShop. And I definitely recommend that to start off, to see which games maybe catch your eye, and then you can of course play a portion of the game before you commit to spending any of your own hard-earned money, or maybe that gifted Christmas eShop credit. Whatever your scenario is, this is definitely a good thing to do. And it made me realize too, I'm not spending enough time in the eShop myself because I'm such a physical collector. There's actually a lot of good things in here that you could actually entertain yourself for hours and hours on end just playing through the beginning of games and seeing if you enjoy them. But I don't know exactly how many demos we'll go through. We'll probably make that call based off how much time we spend on each one. But with that, let's hop into our first free demo on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Now, next game on our list is one you may have remembered me talking about somewhat recently on the channel, and that is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And this is a fantastic port to the Switch, as of course it earlier came out on the other consoles. I actually got this on the PC version, which you will know my stance on the music if you did watch the previous video. The one downfall of this port, and actually just the game as a whole on any other platform other than the PC where you can mod in the Bruce Faulconer soundtrack, is that this game does not have the Bruce Faulconer soundtrack. And some people, disagreed with me in the comments. No, I like the original. Well, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but you are wrong. Bruce Faulconer is absolutely the definitive soundtrack for Dragon Ball Z. Of course, I'm saying that as somebody who grew up with heavy nostalgia for that soundtrack. But I will tell you guys that this game looks and plays beautifully and really has a lot of great action sequences, and it breaks it up with, of course, some exploration and things. It's all kind of like fetch quest stuff, and you'll fight, various enemies along the way, but you do level up and gain experience, unlock really cool skill trees with abilities, and you feel like you're constantly getting faster, faster and stronger, which is what I really enjoy about it. So I think this is a great game through and through. I do have, of course, the gripe on the soundtrack, but I was curious on how the quality is on the Nintendo Switch version of it. So far, I don't notice really any frame rate drops, really any lack of performance from what I remember it being on the PC. It maybe doesn't look exactly as good with lighting effects and things, but it's not noticeable hardly at all. So definitely initial impressions of the demo so far is a very good thing, and I will probably still end up picking this up on the Switch as well, just for the simple fact that it's going to be nice to have on the go. Like, definitely would like to replay this game and kind of do it casually whenever I'm out and about. But let's see if we can skip past this whole cutscene here. Yeah, here we can. I'll show you guys a little bit more gameplay of this one, of course, before we do hop into the rest of the list. Now, I do really like their dodge mechanic. I was just basically pressing B a bunch to teleport there. It doesn't mean you're gonna for sure get away from it, but you oftentimes have a good chance of dodging attacks if you're teleporting around and things. So I like the mechanics of this game. It definitely, to me, versus a lot of the other Dragon Ball Z games, feels quite a bit more fun. And definitely hard too. Like, I remember dying quite a bit in this game, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm still not the best at remembering all my chain combos and things, because It's been a while since I completed this game on the PC with a very enjoyable soundtrack, of course, again. So if you guys are a fan of Dragon Ball Z, of course, they've been kind of recompleting the original anime story over and over most of the time in these games, and this one does follow that same formula, but I personally think it does it better gameplay and exploration wise than a lot of the other ones. And I just took some serious damage there. But of course, they kind of just start you off, like, instead of the actual opening of the game in the demo, they start you off in the first boss fight against where you're going to find Gohan and get him back from Raditz. So it will walk through the entire, original Dragon Ball Z anime story. And, I just think the cutscenes look beautiful. I definitely enjoy how fast action some of the stuff is as well. See, like this, he's throwing blasts everywhere. If I dodge it at the perfect time, then I can get away from it. But no, he's got my number right now. It's not looking good for me. What the heck? How did he chain 3 of those together? Oh, I have him damaged. Now, you can charge and do attacks as well. Let's see if I can get something to get a little bit of redemption before we end here. If I can remember how to do any special attacks, and I really can't, to be honest with you right now. It's probably telling me that over there. Oh, well, we're in danger again. But I don't want to spend too much time on each of these games just because, we got a few more to get through here. So let's hop into the next game before we go any further into Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. But again, one you guys can hop into the eShop and get right now. Now, the next game up on the list today is my game of the year for 2021, and I can definitively say that. Metroid Dread is a truly incredible experience from start to finish. The mechanics of the game, how everything that they pulled off, how Samus feels, I mean, just, I can't even really put it into words. That's why I had to include this on the list, even though, of course, I've 100% of this game. Yeah, I'm actually sad that I'm actually done with it now, of course, as that feeling that you get whenever you're really obsessed with something, you want it to, last forever. But, there's rumors that maybe we'll get some kind of a update with an additional hard mode. I definitely hope that Nintendo does DLC for this one, but there's no telling if they will or not, of course. Nintendo does Nintendo things at the end of the day. But just overall, can't recommend this one enough for you guys to hop into and play through. Though, of course, it is absolutely comes with a warning label that this game is notorious for its difficulty because it is a truly hard game. They do not hold your hand. They give you this little brief area open tutorial thing to kind of get your mechanics down. You are constantly getting upgrades along the way, making you feel far more superior, faster, stronger. But then, of course, with that, you have some much harder boss encounters, some just regular NPC and enemy encounters that actually get significantly harder. There's like a couple points where it's a 2-on-1 fight and you're locked in a room with these super fast knights. Like you have to navigate and not mess up to really pull off the successful run for a lot of the boss fights and even just enemy fights in this game. So I can't recommend Metroid Dread enough. We'll play through a little bit just to show you guys a little bit more after kind of some of the opening stuff here, just so you can get a feel on screen on what Metroid Dread has to offer overall. So I think the main pushback I've seen online around people not thinking Metroid Dread is a worthwhile investment for $60 is the fact that they say, well, it's just a 2D game, it's a 2D Metroidvania game. It's like, well, did you really think how we say Metroidvania now? And this game actually created a genre or a subgenre rather of video games, and it's so good for a reason. Like, it really is. I can't recommend it enough. It's not the longest experience. I mean, you could get through it if you're really good and know what you're doing, and maybe seven or so hours on your first playthrough. I spent a solid 16 hours on my first playthrough, and then that's still not even like I got a lot of the 100% run done, but I still had to go back and finish a lot of the 100% stuff that I didn't get, and I don't know exactly what my total playtime is at currently today, but regardless, first time through, 16 hours in for me, enjoyed every single minute of it. Lots of deaths, lots of upgrades, lots of new abilities, and just new puzzles along the way. And I think if unless you're really just anti 2.5D games, you really have to give this one a shot. And of course it still sits at the $60 price tag. Pro tip: you can go down to Walmart. Most every local Walmart will sell their games physical for $10 less. So you could technically pick this up for $50 fairly easily right now. And again, I just hope that we see a lot of DLC come down the line for this game. I don't know that we will, but I would love to see it. Also, just quick example before we hop into the next game, you you are constantly getting into new areas where it kind of transitions into a 3D cutscene, and it does it so flawlessly and effortlessly. And these Emmy fights are another thing that definitely gets you on the edge of your seat. Like, they did a good job, you know, making you feel that really sci-fi space horror type environment. Like the Dread is the perfect title for this game, because that's literally what it feels like when you're getting chased down by an Emmy, which of course I'm about to get rocked right here. Let's see if I can get the exact timing. I think that one's kind of a setup. It's just showing you that basically you can escape them that way. But yeah, before we get too much further into this, in the interest of time, we'll hop into the next one. But again, Metroid Dread, my 2021 game, which that's saying that is I'm a hardcore Zelda fan, and we had Skyward Sword HD come out this year as well. So definitely worth getting into the demo if you haven't checked it out already. Now, the next game we're hopping into is one that I highly recommend everybody to download the demo for before they purchase this game, because of course this is not a native Switch port. This is a cloud version of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and I've been hearing so many great things about this game. But guys, this is going to turn into kind of quickly a side rant of why we can't just accept cloud ports on the Switch. And I mean, you know, I get that people have different experiences based off their internet. I have great download speed. I don't have good upload speed for whatever reason. It's really hard to pull that off exactly where I live, because internet service providers basically block off the competition and sign these ridiculous contracts. Regardless of all that, this is already noticeably stuttering, dropping frames. Even the beginning loading intro screen actually stuttered to where I didn't even get to see what was... I could hear the audio for the ship flying in and landing, and I saw it land after the fact. So this is a game that I can't recommend you guys enough to not spend your money on before you play through the cloud demo on your own. See what your own experience is. Not everybody is as picky about stuff like this. Like, there's definitely people who, you know, can have some drop frames and have some noticeable input delay, and they're still like, well, it's a great game. You know, I don't understand what all the complaining is. I still have people that say that they swear there's no input delay on Ocarina of Time, and it's like, if you grew up like I did, playing the game time and time again, over and over, you're just more, you know, I guess you just notice it. You notice it just not being as smooth as you remembered. And not saying that Ocarina of Time is this bad, because this is definitely next level, but anything that, you know, kind of just puts the experience off a little bit for me, really takes me out of it. I'm definitely more of a picky person on that kind of stuff, and I'm aware of that, but it's just my own personal preference. I'm the guy that, you know, if I'm watching a movie, I have to make sure all the lights are off in the house. You know, I don't want any glare on the screen. I want to be fully immersed in the experience. And so anytime there's like something that just feels off or wrong, it just pulls me out of it. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing here, because I'm sitting here talking, multitasking. But this is one too that, you know, I was really excited for the Kingdom Hearts games to come to the Switch. Every single Kingdom Hearts game is going to be a cloud port, and you know, that if this is my experience on the Switch with cloud games, and I've never had a great experience with cloud games. Of course, I don't have, like, you know, Google Fiber or anything like that in my area. Like, I'm sure there's people out there that can play games like this and have them, you know, not really chug along like you're seeing here. Like, I don't know how well this will come through on the video, but there's constantly frame skips and frame drops. It's like I'm playing GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition on day one before any patches. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's just, this game so far, I mean, speaking about the game a little bit more, it seems incredible, and it seems really, you know, graphically well done. This is one that I will download on either the PS5 or Series X, absolutely, over the Switch, unfortunately, just because of the cloud version. But hey, you could at least download the demo, check out what your performance is, see what you think of the opening parts of the game, the combat and everything. I haven't gotten into too much depth of the game itself yet, but I just had to have that cloud conversation with you guys that, you know, I hope we don't have too long of a life on the Switch with the processor that it has right now. And even if it means a Switch Pro with exclusive games to that, like third-party games like this, but we could still get native ports, that's what I want to see. I would happily, you know, have a split off of the generation where only certain ones are compatible, just to avoid, you know, essentially the other option of what developers can do very quickly, and that's just to take the lazy way and do a cloud version of all their games. So I definitely hope that cloud is something that, you know, we maybe see later on in the future once everybody's internet gets up to snuff, but for the time being, it's not there yet for me. So that's my personal 2 cents on Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. The game itself, initial impressions rather, seem very, very good. A lot of color pop. Definitely, you know, a nicer game graphically than what you would typically see on a Nintendo Switch. Not to say that they couldn't have probably put in the work to make this native, because, you know, I mean, we have games like Witcher 3 running on the Switch natively as well. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below what your experience is with cloud games specifically, and if you've checked out Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy on Switch via the cloud port yet. Now, next game on our list today is none other than Immortals Fenyx Rising. I am surprised that I have not played this game yet, and I mean, this is literally my first time ever booting into it. This, of course, is the free demo, as that's the focus of the video today, but I've heard a lot of great things about this game from very, you know, a variety of different type of players and that enjoy different types of games, and this one seems to be a real big hit for Nintendo Switch fans, and it does run, it runs pretty nice. I can see some frame drops. I'm sure this game's going to, you know, perform better on something like a PS4, PS5, or Series X, but, you know, for the graphical fidelity of the game and it being a native port on the Switch, it's not a cloud version like we just played through on Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think this looks and plays very nicely on the Nintendo Switch, and initial impressions so far are all positive. It looks like my battery is getting low in my controller as well. But yeah, so I don't know exactly how this game plays. I know some people have compared it, certain at least sections of it, to Breath of the Wild. That's not exactly the vibe that I'm getting so far, but I'm sure there's probably going to be some inspiration from that. As far as like that first combat section, it almost reminded me of like God of War style, like the old school God of Wars back on the PS2 and PS3, just fighting those monsters. And it looks like I can probably jump and glide here. I don't know the controls yet. This is, again, my first blind playthrough of part of this game. Oh, okay, well, this is cool. So you can actually soar freely quite a bit there. It looks like my bar is slowly going down, but I can definitely make it over to new areas. And yeah, oh, boost. Okay, let's see. We got hold Y for boost. So kind of a weird combination, because I got to hold A to fly, and then to boost I got to hold Y, which are like, they're like directly across from each other. But it looks like we'll have a little bit more combat here to jump into. I'm sure, you know, oh yeah, we got axe attack and everything else too. I'm sure that as time goes along with this game, you're gonna, you know, end up unlocking a lot of different abilities and moves. A little bit of, I mean, I said God of War, and of course, you know, Bayonetta is kind of similar to that, but definitely, I like the way that the combat feels so far. There's not, you know, these kind of somewhat, like, you still have to be, you know, smart on what attacks you're using, but there's somewhat hack and slash type games. I really do enjoy those, especially, you know, whenever you feel like you can just keep going along pressing buttons, and then they make you fight a boss that completely wrecks you, and you have to learn, you know, new portions of the mechanic, like the mechanics of the game. Like, I'm a huge fan of stuff like that. So I think this one, you know, initial impressions are super positive. This is actually, you know, I don't know what the story's gonna be like, or, you know, what direction it'll really go into long term, but I mean, like I said, I can just oh, I guess you don't have to. I was just complaining about that. You don't have to hold A the whole time, so I can just freely boost, so that makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, I'll be excited to see what this game has to offer. I may just look for it on a sale and pick it up. Like I said, full transparency, I'm sure, because this game is, you know, multi-platform, I'm sure that the frame rate and everything graphically is going to look better and play smoother on other consoles if you do own those other platforms. But of course, the beautiful thing of the Switch is you can take this game anywhere with you on the go. So all good stuff so far for Immortal Fenyx Rising. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys already own this game, what you think of it, and if you'd recommend purchasing it, because, you know, so far I think I would enjoy doing a full playthrough of this title just based off my initial demo experience. But at this point in the video, guys, I want to hear from you in the comments down below what you think of the demos we played through today. You know, maybe some of the demos that you were not on this list that you have played that you would recommend. I would love to hear that from you as well. And then definitely share with me, you know, how you're planning on spending some of that Christmas gift eShop credit, if you did get any, or maybe some games that you did get over this holiday season. I would love to hear from you guys on all the different games we talked about today, and some of the ones that you enjoy the most from the eShop yourself in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do, at this point in the video, want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.